Okay, here we go. First match of Necropolis Grail. A new cup. A bit of a different initiative than we're used to. It's played on fast speed, as you can see here. And the overall theme is like pretty dark, like graveyards. Necropolis is the name of it, so the maps will have graveyard sign over them. Hey, why hello there, thanks for joining in. So the first map is always, as you can see, graveyards. This is, yeah, graveyard fields all over the place here. You have some ponds on the sides, so you could definitely look for deep fish and fish boom here. And otherwise it should be standard resources, I believe, but then there are some extra goals to the sides here, and look at the relic count as well. It's like 6, 9, 10, 11 or 12 relics from the looks of it. So we're starting with a game in the Death Division. This is MingudaiLee playing in the blue as Aztecs, and KD here playing the red as Franks. So pretty good overall sips. Both of them Aztecs maybe being favored here because of their extra relic gold, since there are so many relics, so not a bad pick there. I assume from the relics count we will be seeing Lithuanians on this map as well. Feels almost like normal speed to me, yeah, but it says fast up here, so I don't know. Maybe the playback speed is joking with us. Anyway, yeah, Mingudai bringing this sheep here, scouting very nicely around this base as well, and KD also already found the ponds here, so it has a nice dock spot here, I guess. He could shorefish with his villager, and look at all his deep fish as opposed to... Yeah, well, yes, these docks seem somewhat randomly placed here. I guess both players can access them, but they're much closer for red here, so KD could get an advantage early on here with Franks getting, if he gets the fish boom going, he will have infinite food for scouts, mass scouts for example, or... But then again, his starting spawn is in the middle of a huge crater here, so to speak. It's hills all over the place, so if MingudaiLee goes for the archer's approach, that's going to be bad news for KD, I believe. So both players bring in the boars now. I see we have berries as well, and as said, the opportunity for fish boom, and yeah, some nice woodlands around the base. Looks like this should be, disregarding the pond, that this should be easily wallable as well. Within the woodlands, maybe MingudaiLee has actually a better option for walling off here, but we'll just have to wait and see how the game progresses, I guess. So KD now about to find his opponent. It's just, I'm sure he expects his opponent to be around here, and he will find shortly. If he gets lucky, he will see the barracks going up as well. You will, of course, in most cases, expect a drush or man-at-arms opening from Aztecs. So I believe that's what we'll see here. Considering the population, this should be men-at-arms. Now MingudaiLee, yeah, he wants to task his villagers to wood while bringing the boar here, so they're not just idling around. So a bit of idle time here from MingudaiLee, but no huge deal, I guess. Their villager counts are somewhat even. KD actually slightly ahead here. And KD is taking the wood line on his side here. Second wood line going up. This looks a lot like a Scouts build, if you ask me. It's spreading out the builds, but also he didn't click up yet, but he is... okay, maybe not. He's pretty low on food, actually. But he's on a labing run here. He discovers 2 of the sheep that MingudaiLee didn't find. I guess MingudaiLee had a bit of a rough start here. Not optimal timing on the border, since he had to task the villagers to get wood meanwhile, but now he's gathering away and their production seems somewhat similar here. Looking at KD's side, he's closing in on 500 food. Will we see the click up now? He needs to. Yeah, there's the fuel H. And MingudaiLee hasn't. He's actually hunting long distance hunting here. And he hasn't gone to gold yet, but just now dropping the middle on the berries. Could be that MingudaiLee isn't too familiar with this map. He seems to be after starting here with here the militia are in production. Whereas KD is on the way to that. Okay, there are actually some militia forward here, which I missed here, but he stops his opponent's barracks here, which is huge for MingudaiLee actually, stopping the barracks going up for Franks. It's definitely going to delay the Franks players' scout rush a lot here, even though he rushes down the barracks now. I don't think that barracks will go up in time for fuel H. And also now harassing the barracks, making life difficult for his Franks opponent here. Once the barracks is up, we will be seeing KD dropping a stable, I'm sure. He has the wood to support it. But rush is really putting him off here. You have to remember as well that this is random map, but played at fast speed, although it may not look like it on this replay. And since that is the case, these kinds of rushes are even more offsetting because we're really not necessarily used to playing random map on fast speed. So KD opts to clean up the rush here. That's 4 militia that need to be dealt with, and this is huge amounts of idle time here. Look at the villager counts for the two players. Has to be said that the active player is not in Field H just yet, so of course he has the villager lead. He has been producing constantly, but still it's a significant amount of idle time for KD, who hasn't gotten around to making scouts yet either. There are the scouts in production, and we will be seeing him moving forward soon. It's just that MingudaiLee is still not walled, so scouts should be able to do some damage here. Sound is bugged again. Okay, yeah. I don't know what's the. I'll check some cables here. So, let's see here, blacksmith now going up, and fish boom on the way for KD. That could buy him a significant food lead, but we see MingudaiLee here in the blue docking as well. Great series to start with, thanks man. But where are these blue guys going? Are they going forward now? Is he going to drop a tower or something? Or this has me curious. So red KD here scouts the villagers going forward, but what's he going to do about it? It's a forward barracks for MingudaiLee here. Wow, very offensive strat. This might signify some Eagle Scouts play actually. Not that I'm going to be sure about anything. He's adding spears at home as well to fight off any scouts, but the scouts are forward, so now maybe he will queue the spears here instead. It remains to be seen, but very offensive play here for MingudaiLee. And he is indeed dropping a tower. Very risky with all these 3 scouts in the behind here, but he only needs 1 or 2 spears here to deal with these weak scouts. Ah, thanks for tipping off about Caden Jury. He's really in the top-notch deathmatch play. So he's certainly accustomed to fast speed then. And he's dropping a defensive tower now here. Should be easily go up before MingudaiLee's tower here, I believe. Only spears being added for now. But MingudaiLee loses 1 forward villager here. He is actually behind the villagers by now, since he has been going up to the fuel H as well. This tower kind of denies the wood line here, but also not, because he has a counter tower firing at him that he needs to pull down. And with more villagers garrisoned inside the Frank's tower here, MingudaiLee is going to be forced to repair to keep this tower up. With this continuous offensive from MingudaiLee, it's going to be tougher for KD to do any offensive action here. So, but we see the fish boom going on here, and I would be very surprised not to see KD being the first one to cast Lich. Although his eco doesn't look set up for it for now, he does have a significant food income as opposed to his opponent, so this should make a huge difference in the early game here. Spearman attacking the tower here as well, and some villagers from KD attacking the Spearman, but that also distracts some tower fire or keeps the Vizier. But as said, MingudaiLee will need to repair this tower, otherwise it will go down. He sends forward even more villagers here. And Garrisons wants to repair his forward archery range as well. So 2 forward military buildings for MingudaiLee now. He's not joking around here. He wants to put his opponent on the defensive here, and is successfully doing so by constantly annoying here. But he should be aware of the fish boom going on to the side here as well. He actually doesn't see it, so he should find some way to challenge water as well, so as not to give his opponent any advantages here. Very resilient defense from KD here as well. He keeps his villagers garrison inside here just to ensure that they are doing more damage to the offensive tower. And otherwise there doesn't seem to be much going on other than KD doing his fish boom, getting wheelbarrow now, but MingudaiLee is adding Eagle Scouts, is stacking them up both here and at home, so he has double various production of Eagle Scouts. And yeah, he won't be seeing Castle H anytime soon, I believe, but once he gets a number of Eagle Scouts out, he can be really annoying on the woodlines here and just stay out of the easy fire. He could also take his opponent completely off gold here. Frank's player here, very heavy on gold. He must be setting up for Castle H and Knights here. And he should be able to click up very soon as well. And look at these 12 fishing ships taking in food for him here. And with Castle H coming in, he will have Knights to deal with any Eagle Scouts coming forward. And as long as they're Eagle Scouts, they are no match at all for Knights here. And now KD pulls off his villagers to another woodline, just stays clear of this tower, and yeah, it's playing very patiently here, I would say, staying off defensives. He's not stressing being forward. I would love to see a counterattack, but I guess that's what we'll be seeing in the cast stage, as KD is just fish booming away. But look at the scores here, they're pretty even. That has to be military numbers speaking from MingudaiLee's score, and he is keeping his opponent on the defensive here. Gets the Eagles in, that's 5 Eagles now raiding the woodline of KD, and this could be devastating for KD. Are there any upgrades of those? There's seems to be defensive upgrade on the Eagle Scouts here, so but he runs into TC fire, loses 1, but in exchange he idles his opponent a lot, and now the villager counts are dead even, and MingudaiLee is bringing villagers forward to yet another tower, and seems like KD just wants to deal with this right away, attack both the villagers and builders, and just get this tower foundation down before it even goes up. Seems like a right choice, since he already has the eco on water to sustain some Knights production. So once he reaches Castle H, he will queue the Knights. He is actually on double stables here, queuing in both stables. He has 4 Knights queued in total now. So even if he sacrifices some builders here to archers and tower builders here, he should be in a decent spot here, I believe. He's being idled so much here now. Look at his eco just in shambles here right now because of a few Eagles and some towers constantly harassing. Again, this is fast speed, so if you're not used to it, but KD is, of course, since it's an old deathmatch player, but we might be seeing some different kinds of plays and stress moments here because of the actual fast speed. But K-Dan cleans up rather okay here. He had to put them on the market to stabilize eco a bit. He could still sell food for gold and whatever he needs, and now he's going forward with knights. So now let's see what kind of damage he can do. They don't have anything else than the +1 defense here, but that's something. But MingudaiLee is also going for the Castle Age here. Okay, knights running forward. Let's follow these for a moment. These are towers and archers firing. Let's follow the forward here a bit and see how this is. Their military counts are dead even with MingudaiLee, with the villager lead. 5 villager lead, even without fish moving actually. So they two players with very different approaches here. Maybe he is about to place a monastery and get some relics as well. Yeah. But MingudaiLee, not being untouched at home, his eco looks more stable overall. It's more balanced. He has a little bit of everything and should have no problem sustaining his forward a bit. But he has to deal with the knights. His problem is that he only has one barracks at home. His other buildings forward, which could hurt him in the event of a rush. But there is one barracks here, placing out some spearmen, and although taking a few villager losses here, he should be able to deal with this. So I'd say KD has a good value of his knights already. He's sniped quite a few villagers. He's back in the villager lead. But I believe villager count also includes fishing ships. Because KD has 33 villagers, as you can see here. But MingudaiLee reaches Castle Age. He takes pikemen straight away, which makes sense when you're up against knights like this. And let's see what he plans otherwise. He's adding forward siege. Now this could be dangerous for KD, since most of his army is forward. He even added some skirms here to deal with the forward archers of MingudaiLee. Maybe a bit of a questionable investment considering he has knights, but it could be the result of the eco as well. But he is producing. He has adding both skirms and knights here. Skirms, of course, can deal with pikes to some extent as well, so that could be the reasoning for it. And the siege workshop is up for MingudaiLee. Is queuing one mangonel here. And should be able to clean up the knights at home now. There's quite a few pikemen here. There's 8 pikemen chasing the knights here. And looks like even more villagers to be going to... Okay, it's going to stone, so he either wants to drop more towers or eventually a castle. Also has some pikemen forward, so he has defense for his honor gear for now. Cleans up all the knights here, and there's only one knight left at home for KD here. Could be really bad news. I think it would benefit KD to, yeah, exactly, to garrison here now. These pikes will actually go down to TC fire now. But in exchange they are tanking TC fire instead of going to the mangonel, so... Oh, I didn't know we could cross there. KD will now see MingudaiLee actually going for the fish himself. I really like KD's approach to this with a safe fish boom. It only had some walls and perhaps a castle. Now we'd be in such a great position. Yeah, it's true. If you could place a castle here or something, that would be a perfect spot to secure a lot of the fish and fish boom. But here we go. It's pike siege push here from MingudaiLee, and it looks like KD's TC will go down. It's his only TC. He will be forced to... this is their first map, myth. It's graveyards. So game 1 is always graveyards. Look at KD's awareness here as well, adding fire ships on the water. But he deals with knights again. He will lose his only TC, and this is really devastating news for KD. He won't be able to rebuild the TC if he loses this one, because he's simply lacking the wood for it. Looks like MingudaiLee's constant pressure is paying off here. He did also force KD to pay some attention to water because he was docking himself. He actually hasn't been doing anything by that dock other than place it for now. So that could be almost a decoy, but KD is still keeping his TC up here, but that's only for so long, I believe. If MingudaiLee gets another on the out, this TC will go on, and the GG is called. So, to sum it up, very strong early pressure from MingudaiLee that he also just kept going. He went forward with Drush first, and then placed some forward military buildings, barracks and archery range and towers, and he just never let go of the forward pressure, and almost didn't leave KD in a position to counterattack at all. KD had some amazing defense here. He went for the fish boom, but he stayed with the fish boom and won TC instead of, or maybe he wasn't really able to expand in any way. So great game for both players, but it's MingudaiLee's win in the end. So let me just pull up the second recording game now. I need to switch screens here a bit just to make sure there aren't any spoilers. Adolf, are you still there? I just have to look into the tournament settings here quickly. It may be that we have the wrong recording here. Thanks for that, Myth. Oh, I want to find the... So it seems that game 2 is on hideout, and I tried to find a map pool because I wasn't sure if hideout is in the map pool, but I guess it is. Adolf, are you there? Alright, let's just get going here. We have game 2 now between MingudaiLee and KD. And apparently they're playing on Hideout, which I thought was not in the pool, but I'll have to be corrected. I tried to find a map pool, but I couldn't find it easily. Anyway, let's just cast this. This is the recording that I had around here, so we'll have a look. We have KD playing the red as Celts, and MingudaiLee in the blue playing as humans. So it's an interesting matchup for sure. Humans have the opportunity for early siege tower push, of course, already in fuel. But then again, Celts and Castle Age Forward have amazing siege, firing faster, so that might not be the humans play here, but it remains to be seen. So this is KD's home map as he lost the last game. So to get in touch with the tournament speed, this is I'm just fast forwarding a little bit here to catch up with any action. There's not really so much early action on Hideout, so let's just see. Could be that also this is just simply a wrong recording sent in. Thanks, Akkal-AOE. So it looks like MingudaiLee might get housed here. Panic House being placed here. Maybe a bit of jitters after the last game, even though he won the game. Might be. So with Celts, it could be Men at Arms and Towers, of course. That's a valid strat for Hideout, even though you have to get through the walls for that to be very efficient. But it looks like MingudaiLee here has forward-ish resources. I wouldn't say that maybe with the tower fletching it's sort of in range, but KD certainly has a better map for that. He has his resources in the back, so he doesn't need to worry about towers covering his resources, whereas on MingudaiLee's side, that tower here could deny this gold easily, of course, and maybe even the stone. So, but let's see if there's going to be as early action as that here. Looks like it won't, because it's already sending more to wood here, but who knows? So KD not having idle time so far is quite ahead in the villager count at the moment. Remember that fast speed can also be unsettling. Akkal-AOE, could you also do the command to change the map, and it's exclamation mark edit com and then exclamation mark home map in one word. Actually, I can do it myself. So MingudaiLee is out scouting now, he's found his opponent, realizes that he's close and is already going forward, it seems. So this is going to be some kind of human feudal push here. These are 5 builders. What's his setup like? He's on stone already, so it's definitely going to be towers. He's not on gold, so he cannot sustain any ramp push, so it's at least not for the moment. But KD is aware here, his scout sees the builders. So let's see if MingudaiLee still will go on. It looked like he wanted to retreat for a moment here. Well, hello there, this is from Death Division. But I will cast, the next game will be Adept Division. I'm trying to mix it up a bit to get both divisions covered. If you want to know the rank of the players, you could also use exclamation mark rank and then the name of the player. So MingudaiLee dropping a tower. He's on wood on stone mostly for a moment. He's going to break through the palisade walls here and put some gold. Like last time, he's going for earth pressure. He's going for towers now for a moment. And yeah, on the very aggressive here. We see KD already walling him off and should be able to restrict MingudaiLee from going further onwards. But palisade gates, non-finished. They are very easily torn down. Look at this. It goes down like nothing here. And now placing a tower on the barracks. That's already obstructing KD quite a lot, but now he's in feudal age. He could opt for defensive towers. So kind of ballsy going for a tower actually on a map like this with resources so far in the fight. KD isn't even going to the stone here, so he doesn't really want to go for the defensive towers. It seems he wants to go to cast age as quickly as possible. But he's lacking a lot of food and is forced to do some kind of defensive approach here. He's placing a barracks. Could be that he wants to do some kind of archer defense or something. But MingudaiLee now towering KD's TC here, and that's going to restrict some farming as well, so it's going to be really hard for KD to get his food income. He will need to migrate somehow, but he's putting up a market, then he can sell more to gold and buy necessary resources. He actually doesn't even have loom either. We don't really usually get loom or loom post maps, but maybe now in pressure like this it could be considered. But also then again, if he can muster the resources, he can go cast Lage and maybe more easily push down the forwards here. Now the feudal siege workshop from MingudaiLee here. He could be looking to take out the TC actually. Let's have a look at MingudaiLee's resource setup. His house is of course very preoccupied with his forward here. It's difficult to attend at home as well, but he's looks like he's saving up to add a ram very soon. He's only missing a little bit of wood here. There's the ram. And he keeps adding towers, obviously. You see the walling here from KD is very nice defense, actually. And let's look at his resources. With adding all these farms, he's actually closing on clicking up to the cast Lage. But the ram is out. That should make it a lot easier to push through, for example, here and then tower the gold of the woods. But it looks like MingudaiLee is going straight for TC here. And this ram should be easily battered down by villagers, but then again the villagers, they don't have loom, so they can't safely batter down a ram under the tower of fire here. And there's another ram being added, and MingudaiLee of course is up to the cast Lage, but he is losing so much along the way. He will be losing even more villagers. He's not prioritizing loom. And tries to batter down the battering rams, of course, but then MingudaiLee can just pull back and look at this TC. It might actually go down to Tower of Fire and battering rams here. KD really needs to repair here and keep this TC up to get to the cast Lage, but then again, what does it do in cast Lage with eco setup like this? It's gonna be tough for KD here. Even another ram being added. I think this TC might go down. And if it doesn't, it's still massive amounts of idle type and lost villagers for KD. Let's have a look at the villager count here. It's 30 to 35, but KD of course can't replenish them. It's going up, but look at the TC now. It's so close to going down. And if it does, imagine MingudaiLee tasking the other ram to attack the TC now, and I think KD will lose his TC, and this has to be the GG. It just has to be. Yep. So, first match of Necropolis Grail ends with 2-0 for MingudaiLee. So, powerful performance from MingudaiLee here. He is advancing to the next stage. All sets in this first round are best of 3, and I don't remember the exact count, but we are close to 64 players in Death Division, I believe. So very powerful Cuban play here from MingudaiLee, just relentless pushing. Flylight Django, I will try to cast as much as I can, but there are lots of games. But I'm watching the Recorded Games channel and try to keep up as well as I can. It all depends on my stamina and what time I have to spare. So let's just rough look at the resources here. Stats here, 30 into 1. Thanks, Kong. Yeah, I think it looks like already. It looks like it's pretty popular. Thanks, Ivan. Thanks for telling. I might. I'll try to catch it live if it suits the schedule. That will be cool. So 9:44 if you're late here. And Vildrick high, even for the human player, of course, causing his opponent a lot of idle time. It's fun to see these statistics like this because there's virtually no army. That's just towers and defense and these things. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the other screen again and get the next set ready. This time we will be moving to the set from Adept Division. Typing ASMR, yeah, exactly. Alright guys, moving on. Just let me add the saves as well before we move on with the next game. There we go. Is there... So is my game sound still bugged or is it... okay, I tried to restart my sound capture program. Okay, we're moving on to the Adept Division game now. This is the 1000 to 1400 ELO section. And we have a Lithuanian's mirror on the graveyard, which is also the first map. So here we go. We have Man's really not hot in red here. I might refer to him as red or MNRH or something. Can't hear? Uh-oh. I think I'll just do a... Hello, if there isn't any sound, no game sound, or yeah, I could probably adjust game sounds a little bit here. Just keep me updated. Okay, thanks. So let's get back to the game here. The previous Graveyard game you had, there were 3 separate pools, but now we only have one huge one here. So we might actually see some actual water fighting here, because there's just so much fish to fight for here in this huge collective pool. And I would say blue is maybe a bit closer, as should have easier access to the pool, but in exchange, red on this side seems to have a somewhat easy wall off, where you can secure a lot of golds and resources here. So, but Lithuanians, obvious choice for this map, I would say, because there are so many relics. There are 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 something relics here. So it should be very easy to get to a point where you can exploit the relic bonus of Lithuanians. But seeing as they are both Lithuanians, we might see some knights fighting with both players having +4 knights here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they choose to play this. Red has taken a little villager lead here, so it's actually nearly two villagers in the lead here, so we could see a very good early pressure from Red as a result from that. He might buy himself an advantage this way. Right. So both players with 4 on wood. Could be that they have the pond in mind, so they want extra wood for that case, but look at red already beginning his wall off here, whereas blue is pretty much open. So, but actually, if blue walls off here, and here, and here, he has a lot of terrain secured, unless transport is done, obviously. So, many options here. I would imagine that they both are expecting scouts opening from each other, so because that's the most logical play with Lithuanians starting with the extra food, but remains to be seen here. So look at the scouting from red. He certainly hasn't found his opponent yet. What's blue like? He's on the way as well. This map gen seems to favor one or the other with the water gen at times. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Blue is definitely closer to the water than red is, but it's RNG, so it could be many ponds, or could be just one big one. So red has found his opponent now. I think blue has not found his own just yet. He's pulling his scout back for some reason. Maybe he saw red scout and is afraid for some Actually, I had this today in my games, was complete map win. Yeah. It went Imperial without placing 1 farm. Wow. That's dominance if I've ever seen any. So, blue brings his scout back. He doesn't know his opponent's location yet. And red is just chilling out on this side. And blue will actually be the first one going up to feudal age. But red with 3 more pop, he could actually be opting for a fast castle here. And at the same time, he's blocking the boar luring villager from blue here, so that's going to set back blue a lot here. Not bringing in his second boar. So losing 1 villager for blue, he's all the way to the feudal age, but he will be missing a lot of food. He needs to bring in this boar for to have enough food for scouts production, I believe. He's dropping the barracks now. But seems like a rough start for blue here. He could be assuming that his opponent is over here, although he hasn't scouted it yet. And red is, although he's started the walls, is not completed this side. So that could be an issue if blue brings out the scouts. He could harm red in the opening here, but red with a significant villager lead here. And should be able to reach Castle Edge also. It's actually a rush from red coming in here now, which strikes me as a very late rush. His opponent is in field range already, but it doesn't mean that he can't do any damage here, so... Yeah, and this, the seedings are tough when the yellow brackets go from 1400 to 1800 in the Death Division. You just know you're going to face some serious opposition in the next set. So let's pay a little bit attention to red's forward here. I think he might... These villages are loom, right? Yeah, they do. But loses a bit to TC fire here. He does succeed in idling his opponent a lot here though. No production at all, now one scout in production, but red is on his way up. And red is also basically only missing the gold for Castle H once he gets up, so this looks like a very good spot for red already. We might not see a very long game here. It's already loose, 8 villagers behind, and it's looking tough to get back from this. Mind you that red is also now fully walled. It could be that this either he didn't want to try and wall here, or otherwise this isn't wallable due to the stragglers here, but is securing a bit of walling at home should be tough for blue's few scouts to do any damage to red before he reaches Castle Age as he drops his blacksmith stable here. But the scouts go forward, 3 scouts, no upgrades I would assume. But he will have to hurry to get in here. You could of course use the... I think it should be able to straggler drop through this one and get through. But looks like he pulls back already. Did he even find red's buildings? No, he didn't. That's a disaster for blue actually. Still doesn't know where his enemy is for sure. And he's scouting as well. He's adding so many scouts as well. That's gonna delay his Castle Age significantly, and red on the other hand is now only 70 foot away from clicking up, so this looks kind of grim for blue. It's interesting to see that none of them have gone for water. They may be thinking that this is just a small pond, but then again you see the deep fish, so you should absolutely consider some to take advantage of this. Now pulls the scouts back here. Look at the scouting, he's found some resources over here. He must know by now that his opponent is over here. He's even set a gathering point up here actually. So blue kind of scouting a little bit at random here, and can't really do much with his scouts. At the same time, we see red going up to the Castle Age is at 40%. Has a lot of farms, has a lot more healthy eco, I would say. He can already sustain Knight's production. He has one relic secured inside his base and another one right here. He could get to the +2 attack for the Knights almost instantly once he drops a monastery, and that could be just GG for blue once the Knights are out with that power of attack. So I can see why blue would use his scouts to scout them up when he knows he can't really do any damage, but he in fact he still hasn't found his enemy's base, so he can't know for sure that everything is walled off, which is something he will notice very soon, I hope. And we hear a dock going up. Was that for blue? Could actually potentially get him back in the game food-wise if red does not dock, but that calls for some next level defense for blue not to let red in. But for now he's actually secure most of his base. This needs to be wall off and he's fine for a while. But Red now already dropping in 1-3, he will get to 2 relics just like that, and there's just no way in for Blue here to do damage. Tries to break in, but even with the monastery up, Red could even convert scouts here, so there's no way Red is letting the scouts in here to do any damage to Blue. Or the other way around, to receive any damage from Blue. See, the villager counts are not evening out just yet, but with the fish boom going up, he is actually not adding any. There's the first ship, okay. But now needs to fight knights with scouts, and I believe Blue will lose all of his scouts here to Knight's Fire, and that's 300 food just down the drain for Blue. Everything he got in return for this was unfortunately scouting intel, which is not to be underestimated, but he really needs to do damage to his old opponent being 8 villagers behind already, and not to mention he is not even in cast age yet, although he's getting close. He's missing just a little bit of gold and seems to want to secure a little bit more territory here with house walls. So Red's Knights now with +2, bringing in 1 relic. Already has 1 in storage as well, so that's going to be +2 for free for Red here. Doesn't even need the blacksmith attack upgrades yet in that sense. And Red is also actively scouting, trying to look for entry points here. So Blue is still open here. So, but this should be an easy quick wall if the Red Knights go in this direction. So Blue is has 2 fishing ships working. I would love to see him add more fish, even more docks, maybe even to get the fish boom really running, because and he could also even use the fishing ships to scout the shoreline to make sure his opponent actually isn't on water. He cannot at any means allow these knights in, and he's building the wrong house here. This could be a disaster. Spears are ready though, but I think the knights, yeah, saved by the bell there. But knights with +3 attack now, that's no joke, and they get in, and this has to be a GG moment for Blue. How does he defend from 5 +3 knights at this stage in the game? It's only 55% cast age. These knights could just go off and kill every villager that's not garrisoned. And if Red adds even more knights, which I'm sure he's doing, he could even take out the TC with the Knight's Fire. He is missing the last armor though, so he's a bit vulnerable to TC Fire still, but this is just Red's games to win right here. He keeps producing RB, and he will have massive amounts of RB compared to his opponent. Look at this, 15 to 1 here. I don't see any way back for Blue here, unfortunately. But Castlage is in for Blue. As Red goes in to snipe even more villagers here. Look at him blocking them with his army here. Good move. Look, getting so many kills there. It's a 20 villager lead for Red now. And where does Blue go from this? He doesn't have a way back. This is a 105 moment indeed. I think I just would just say good luck in the next game and let's move on. But Blue seems to hold on for a little while longer here. He's adding some knights, but he won't have any extra attack yet unless he's brought in relics, which he can't. He doesn't have a monastery. So if his knights get out, he's still going to fight with 10 or potentially the blacksmith upgrades against +4. Some spears in the mix here, but I don't think Blue realizes such a bad position he's in. He obviously can't see his opponent's villager count, but okay, nice quick ball there, keeping the knights out from his docking fishing villagers, but villager count is 21 to 49 now, and the Red is even moving forward with a monk to pick up this relic, so Red is not throwing this game, he just wants to see it finished and move on to the next one here. If Red could just charge here, it's +5 attack now for his knights. That is no problem fighting spearmen with this. And he should easily win against these knights as well, who have only +1 and no armor from what I can tell. But they are weak though. But look at Red hiding away the weak one for a nice little bit of micro there, taking some fights. And of course he has more army at home, and Blue is running forward with with villagers here. I don't know what's the idea here. They were chasing the monk, I guess. Okay, nice little fleeing moment there. And sneaky siege workshop from Red, but the GG is called from Blue, and of course you can tell from the score and everything that he is in fact very, very far behind. Brings it to 1-0 for Red here. Man's really not hot. I might even have abbreviated that wrong, but let's just stick with it for now. I'm gonna browse quickly through the stats here, and then we'll move on to game 2 between these players. Massive equal lead for Mans. Really not hot here. He did go for the slower feudalage, no early push at all, and then just wall off and fast castle, and his map, as we can see, absolutely allowed that. Military KD 26-9. This is actually mostly villagers, maybe a few spearmen and such, but here's the food and wood collected. So Blue actually caught up a little bit in the food collection, considering he actually added fish, something Red didn't do, but there just wasn't any way back with these castlage different times, and Red having 2 relics very close to his home base. 5 relics captured already, 646 for the gold, and massive villager lead here. And the army now is just increasing for Red. Right, let's move on to game 2. Alright guys, we're moving on to game 2 here, and we will see Necro Arena for the first time. It's one of the maps in the pool, one of the custom maps that have been adjusted by HAFE, and it's pretty much like Arena, obviously, but then you have these buildings residue all over the map, giving it that spooky graveyard-ish look, and the dark terrain as well. So looking forward to seeing Arena being played here on fast speed, as they do. And Red off to a tough start here with killing the sheep outside his TC, unfortunately. He is playing as Aztecs, and that has to be considered a very strong arena save, of course. But then again, Mongols in the blue here, they certainly have the opportunity for a good early aggression with a cast burp and some MingudaiLee, for example. Not to mention the late game fantastic siege that Mongols can have. So I'm curious to see how this matchup plays out. Players are already scouting the map for relics and other stuff. They will be most likely be pushing deer as well, unless the deer are outside. So Walker, thanks for that. I'm looking forward to casting and seeing more games, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy it as well. It's a nice initiative with something a little bit different than just Arabia and some wacky settings like a fast speed. So we see the deer are inside, so they could easily be pushed. That's the case for both players. And looks like Red scouted some of Blue's sheep and decided not to lame them, so he's just left them forward. Either that or he's actually scouting outside his base with sheep, which is maybe not the best choice on arena, considering your opponent could snag them and get free food. Okay, he might be bringing in some of his opponent's sheep here. Looks like Blue has only 2 sheep left here, so this has to be Blue's sheep. But Red seems to be a nice guy and actually send them into Blue's base, so that's very nice gesture from Red there, not laying those sheep. Yeah, true. It's a nice gesture after game 1, yeah. Cool. I see the score is blocking the minimap a bit there. I need to move that. Should be a bit better. So Captain Fruit lagging a bit behind. Could it be scouting? I think that could be attributed mainly to scouting, but also being a few villagers behind again. And this classic villagers going to the closest next sheep. There's 8 villagers eating 1 sheep now. That's unfortunately a bit inefficient for Blue. He's Mongols, and 2 of his deer are outside his base. Very unlucky for Blue, but he should consider taking the hunt anyway as Mongols, because that will grant him. That's what will grant him an early advantage, gathering the hunt 40% faster. So Blue, 2 villagers behind here. Red. I guess it's kind of too early to tell what he's up to, but as Aztecs he can easily challenge the relics, which he should do because he gets extra gold for the relics. So if he places barracks and gets Eagle Scouts on the field before Castle Age, he can easily guard and contest the relics. From the looks of it being two villagers ahead, we should be seeing the Aztec player going first to Castle Age. Let me actually speed this up just a little bit, since there's not really much of the action going on in Arena. So 4 on food, 8 on wood for Captain Fruit. These are decent level camps, kind of close. You might see villagers bumping into each other as this moves on, but he's okay for now. And Red, on the other hand, using 2 different woodlines for his wood choppers. This one could have been further inside, of course, for even better or long-lasting efficiency, but he seems to have a grasp of things. He's going to Feudal Age with 26 pop. Not too unusual for Arena, where you wall in and just are at liberty to do your build order in a peaceful manner. And looking at the resources, let's toggle the red here. Should not be any huge issues for him going quickly to the next stage here. So Blue not that far behind, all things considered, but he's going up only at 23 pop, which immediately puts him at a disadvantage. He for sure won't be able to click up right away, looking at the food and gold here. Whereas Red has dropped his blacksmith and market, and he's already on the way up, also getting eco upgrades. Voodoo! Yeah, monks are coming, for sure. So Red now dropping the barracks. So far playing this very much meta. He wants to get more Eagle Scouts on the field and just make sure he can guard and get all the relics here. Castle Age is in for for red here, and his opponent is still making villagers not able to click up. I think he's even missing his buildings here. So now dropping a stable. I'm afraid blue is falling very much behind here. He's now dropping the blacksmith as well. He will be going up at something like 30 pop, I guess, but his Castle Age will just be so far behind. And monks are on the field for it. I guess I'll get back to normal speed. Monks on the field for it now. Look at the scouts guarding the relics here. Even with blue adding some scouts on his own, it's just going to be too late to contest the relics because there are eagle scouts on the field as well, and they will be guarding the monks. And red must now know for sure that his opponent, not being Castle Age yet, is going to be a no-brainer for him to get all the relics in his base. Unless this monk goes for this relic, then maybe blue's scout could get a monk snipe here, but I think he has other plans here. Yeah. If blue was patrolling here, it would be, yeah, red might lose a monk here. So good play from blue there, sniping one monk. He's restricting that relic for now, but he is fighting eagle scouts here. They have more attack overall, but seems to be losing the fight here. Yeah, I'm trying to invert cheese, so just not looking over all the time. But Liam was, yeah, I think I've stored Liam's recording already, so we'll get to that as well, I guess. Castle Age in at 21-ish minute for blue here. He is now getting some eco upgrades. He keeps adding scouts, so he seems to want to contest the relics himself. He might be able to secure 1 or 2 in the end, but he's already also 13 villagers behind. I suspect red is already on 3 TC blue. So eco-wise, this is not looking too bright for blue's side here, unfortunately. But 4 scouts on the field, that does make it harder for red to secure the relics, but he already has how many does he have? Check the relic count here, he has 2 relics for now. And looking at the eco setup here as well, it seems a bit more healthy for red, so to speak. He's getting a monk text now, and blue settles for castle at home. Absolutely not a bad play from blue, placing his first castle at home, as that protects him from monks and siege going forward from this direction. Not to stop the Aztec player from going in another direction, of course, but he does secure his stone and golds here, so I approve of that decision. Scouts on the field, I think blue could benefit from having the scouts on patrol here, because then when the monk goes in, the scouts will auto-attack. Switching back to red's point of view, he is now already getting handcart. Actually, that's a very early handcart, but why not? It increases the efficiency, and if you feel like you can afford it, just go for it. But red will lose another monk here. And I think red doesn't stress too much about it. He knows he's still in the lead, but still kind of wasting gold for the monks here, not protecting them efficiently enough. Instead of eagle scouts, he could have added spears as well, and this would be an issue. And yet another monk might go down now. But now Eagle Scout stands with this relic, and red already has 2 relics in store, is adding monks again. Still, I would love to see some spears, not only Eagle Scouts here, because he will use Eagle Scouts to Scouts fire as well, but now he cleans up 3 scouts total with 1 Eagle Scout here. That leaves blue with 2 scouts. He keeps adding scouts. But we can't really discredit the equal lead that Red has here. He could go Imperial now if he wanted to, honestly, and that would buy him a significant lead. I have no idea how Eagles are. No, but this they will. All 3 scouts of blue were low HP, so that probably was it. But it looks like Red also has 1 attack upgrade for his Eagle Scout, I think. But I think the main cause was that all 3 scouts were actually low HP. So blue is still fighting for the relics, but he's still, from what I can see, he doesn't have a monastery. So if he wants to contest the relics, he also needs to have monks to bring them in. Red now will bring in his 3rd relic, is it? Maybe it's even 4th. Let's see. Yeah, it's the 3rd relic. And yet another Eagle Scout will go down. This okay. So Red is doing the distraction maneuvers here, I guess. He wants to keep blue scouts busy and then just bring in their relics one by one from other locations. Blue now moving over to this relic, leaving the other relic close to Red space up for grabs, and that's probably where we'll see the monk heading next. And there are units in the castle for blue. He is adding MingudaiLee and also getting the upgrades appropriate for the MingudaiLee attack in blue, while the Aztec player is adding a siege workshop. So yes, looks to indeed be thinking about a monk and siege push here. So either blue has now given up on the relics or is just not paying attention to this location this way around. This sending scout now, it saw that the relic was picked up, but it's too late. This monk is gonna get inside before the scouts can enter, I think. If blue gets really lucky here, he could get through the gate while the monk walks in, and that could be bad news for red, but he's just not in time here. However, he does scout the siege. Poor blue is about to be sacrificed to Pochiliti. Yeah, Aztecs and their sacrifices, man. It's very bloody history right there. Scouts attacking the siege workshop. Aztec God of War, I see it. Well, MingudaiLee out on the field for blue. 10 MingudaiLee. But red has scouted blue's castle, or at least is expecting it. He actually hasn't scouted the castle, but he has certainly has skirms already. When you pick Mongols, of course, you are expecting MingudaiLee, and skirms are fantastic defense against that. So, or at least your best option. Scouts going back for the last raid. This should be... Yeah, Eagle Scout goes down again. Should be 4 relics for red now. He should have an extremely significant equal lead. It's actually not really spending the resources yet. It's just booming up and getting ready for the massive push. But blue's resources aren't all that bad either. It's on a 3 TC boom as well, and he's adding quite a few farms. And now MingudaiLee firing on the castle here, not on the builders, unfortunately. And with skirms backing up the castle builders going up as well, blue can't push this back. There are 9 skirms against now 11 MingudaiLee total, but that's not a fight you want to take. He does have the scouts though, so he could challenge the fight, but it's happening a bit too slowly here, and this castle will go up. forward archery range for red as well. I think he wants to add more skirms. They do have the armor and attack upgrades here, and it's a total of 18 skirms here. So blue losing most of his army here, and red is getting ready for his final push. He has the castle out. He's already Imperial Age, so he will also be able to trap this castle down easily. So 2 traps in production for now, but siege as well, and 4 archery barracks and ranges going up for red, and there's just no way for him to lose the advantage he has this game. He has a massive eco supporting everything he does, and he can already spam Ingles forever with his income. So how does blue defend from this? The MingudaiLee should be able to deal with the Mangudai's, of course, but then again there are skirmishers in the back, even monks that could get some conversions on MingudaiLee, and there's only one castle to produce from. Nice to see someone being able to make a reference to Ritsopochitli. Oh, can't even pronounce that. My second screen is a bit far away, so... Blue gets like 5 knights and his daughter said, yeah, you have a point there, but then there's monks in the mix as well, Fonzor. So... is that entirely true though? Well, the gate is open. Red will be in. He's adding main skirmisher, but now he's taking elite Eagle Warrior as well, and the Eagle Warrior spam will just demolish the eco blue here. Nice MingudaiLee hit from blue there. He gets quite a few skirmishers. Has the knights chasing here. He might want to focus down some on the siege as well, but the monk gets a conversion, I believe. And oh, nice hit there. So look at the military count as well. It's 36 to 14 here. The traps pushing the castle is down. There are 10 defenses left for blue. What he could do is wall off here and try and delay the push from red, but with traps and MingudaiLees and everything behind, that's just not really an option. And I think we'll be seeing the GG very soon here now. Blue is pushed into the back of his starting base here. Also getting housed because of the castle going down, unfortunately. But he's placing another castle on his gold here, so he wants to secure some of his economy on this side. Then again, there are traps on the field, so once red sees this castle going up, which he does right now, he can trap down that as well. And blue likely not with an eco to go up to the next stage. If you use his a market, he could buy his way up, but that's not really, that's going to take too long, and there's no way back from blue here. It's just being pushed further and further away. He is down 4 relics to the Aztec player, who will get lots of free gold from that as well. And red is pop capped and is adding virtually any unit he can here, and now gets the rush and push going, taking out TCs. And the GG is called, and it's Mans with not hot's game assets going to 2-0. And GG was called, but they're going on still. There we go. So nice guy Blue says thanks for the games. So let's have a look at the stats again. And then we'll be doing another Death Division game. So as expected, with the early castle age and everything going on, a massive eco lead for red here. whether you're both feudal and castle. This is 5 minutes early. That's huge on arena, honestly. And look at the relic gold as well for Aztecs. It's double the wagers. That was, yeah, tough game for Lou overall. This was Adept Fonzor. I'm gonna move on to a Death Division game again now. Could someone in chat keep me updated on Ivan's live game as well? Just let me know when they're starting. I'll try to fit that in. Thanks, man. Let me just double check that it's the right division here. Yeah. So here we go. We have another game on the first map, which is always graveyards. As you can see, the tombstones and trees and spooky terrain here. That's the main team on the tournament for Necropolis Grail. It's kind of a spooky, dark theme with graveyard and buildings residue all over. We have another, should be Death Division game here. If you want to see the rating of the players, you could use !rank and then the player nickname. And we have a setup with Japanese in the green here. And Tatars for red here. You guys think Drush are buffed or nerfed with fast speed? Good question. We had a Drush in the first game I casted today, and it seemed actually very efficient, even though it happened maybe a little later than your usual Drush. But I've only seen it in one game so far, actually, at Drush opening. Ah, good point. You have to react quicker for quick walls. So, Japanese here, now adding his lumber camp. Not too bad of a choice with Japanese here. He has the pond in the back here, side here, definitely much closer to his base. I think he's scouting for it right now. He will see it, and as we know that Japanese fishing ships, they are tougher to kill because they have more HP. And red is also looking, he's found his pond, I believe, because he has been sheep scouting a bit. And he could of course make advantage of this as well. Looks like the fish disposition is a bit different here. At least there's more shorefish on this side than there is on red side, but this is mainly a land map. Red actually has 2 ponds, that has to be said, so overall more fish for red, but he would need to dock 2 ponds in that sense. So red looks to be going forward to wall off already. This, yeah, over here, it's a nice section to wall. Could have gone even further, of course, but then you're in danger of being attacked by your opponent's scout, so not ideal, obviously. I'll call her. I'm not able to check Discord while I'm streaming games from cast, but I'll check in between games and see if he posts something about it. It would be nice to cast a live game as well. So I'd say overall nice wall off for red on this side. This is a pretty small section, and he's already started on the most immediate section here towards his opponent. And then he could wall off here and the side here. Even though it's a far walk for the villager, it's an easy wall off to secure lots of area with gold and stone and everything. Resource-wise is a back stone and back gold for red here. And it's actually the same for green as well, but his stones are more spread out. But he does have this secure 3-pile stone in the back here. Or not secure, but at least in the back. So these players have a very even start so far. None of them have gone for the fish just yet, but they have the exact same builder count and their scores are pretty even. I assume red has a bit more scouting and that's what's giving away the score lead here. Could have had the scouts fight there, but didn't happen. Red is now taking bloom. Looks like a 21 pop scouts opening here for red. There's the barracks going up. Well, it could, of course, it could be men at arms as well, actually, but he has not gone to gold, so I assume not. Green sees the barracks going up, I think, and if he does, he could delay that. That could be bad news. But he just missed it, actually. Did he miss everything? Yeah, you actually can't see his opponent. But look at this dock here. That's a green dock very close to red's side. So if red tries to block this pawn, green will already be there and be able to challenge it. And the feudal village uptimes will be, yeah, not that far off from each other, but looking at the villager count, it's better for green's eco overall. He's placing the barracks now, he is at 22 pop. Also hasn't been taken any gold, so we might be seeing a scouts opening from green as well actually. Japanese scouts, why not? You do save some wood from only needing 50 wood to place an army camp, and that saves wood of course also for a dock and fishing ships in that sense. So green was about to add a fishing ship, but I think he realized he needed the wood for military buildings or something, or he released it. There it is, yeah. So Fuelage is in for both players. Green is preemptively adding spears here. He must be expecting the Tartar's player to go for scout and the stables put on this side. I'd say that's suboptimal, but also maybe he knows that he could run all the way around here and get in before the walls go up completely for green. So scores very even between these players so far. See, that has to be the initial scout for red. He is adding 4 scouts total. Also chilling out with a relic here. And green looks to be docking another pond as Japanese here. So green should be having a serious eco advantage, seeing as red hasn't docked at all yet. But then again, that means less land presence for green. He has a stable of his own, he's adding scouts now. He should be able to afford more scouts due to the fish boom, so very patient play from green here, and he spots a green villager. That's the villager who was building this dock, I bet. Which will go down, and yeah, it evens out the villager count a bit. This is also including fishing ships, and there are 5 fishing ships for green, which means he is actually 3 villagers behind, but his food eco should be stronger. He has 17 on food, whereas his opponent has only 9. So running in to snipe more villagers here now. There is a spearman here, but this is idle time. It's some good value from red already. For the forward, he's gathering up his scouts. If he has 4 scouts, he could challenge one spearman who has no upgrades at all. Not ideal, but it's doable. There's actually 5 scouts on the field now, and it's adding even more. So blacksmith, I could consider getting blacksmith upgrades as well. Actually, doesn't see the dock of green here, which is huge. He might not see that unless he docks of his own or scouts this area here. So green now with 2 docks out, also shore fishing. Should set him nicely up for a fast castle gear. Although being disturbed by scouts rushing forward, and there aren't enough spears on the field to challenge this. Green with scouts of his own going forward, but realizes his opponent is walled. He has to bring them back home and will take the fights, I guess, against his opponent's scouts here in lack of spearmen. 1 villager down for green again here. You see the villager counts still pretty even, but we have to bear in mind that there are only 26 actual villagers working for green, so lots of that are fishing ships. And red, on the other hand, has 32 villagers, but no presence on water at all. So with 3 ponds on the map, red does know there are ponds. He has seen at least 2 of them, but he chooses to go for the all land approach, wall off, and try to gain an army lead instead. So green forward villager again. I think he managed to pre-qual her in here now. And the villager counts are pretty similar now. That's a few spears and scouts for green, and we'll see some feudal age fighting going on for a while here now. But considering the fish boom backing this up for green, green should still be able to reach the castle age quicker. He already has almost the food for castle age. He will need to go to gold as well, something he hasn't done just yet. But still pretty even. Spears now in the mix for red as well. Green actually gets in a few hits on the spear here without them engaging back, which is a pretty smart move. So he's put on defensive here now. Needs to add more spears of his own, I believe. I don't see any. There are the spears from green. They're protecting the wood line. Good awareness from green here. He sees the scouts will be coming from this direction and now has 3 spears to intercept. I think they will get some nice hits in here now. Also chasing with his own scouts, and red might lose his forward army here, which is huge considering that green has the boom. He's gone to gold now, and once he has the gold for it, he will be going up. Something I think red is closing in on as well, but he's further away all over. But military count 11 to 6 for green here. And a villager also a villager lead for green, but that's the fishing ships doing some work for him. They're actually now taking the shore fish and not the deep fish. And this pond will run out of fish as well, but we will be seeing fish traps for sure. Green takes a great fight here, actually now removing most, if not all, of red's military. The red now left with 2 military. What are those? That's probably his initial scout somewhere, and a spearman at home. No, they're only spearmen. He's actually even out of a scout at this point, red. So I think red did a decent offensive. He's also going to be first to the castle age, but his eco should be significantly weaker, especially food-wise, considering he is not fishing at all. But the ranges are going up. I think red will be going straight for the cav archers here, as Tatars get Thumb for free, which is huge for cav archers. And that kind of mobility should buy him a serious advantage. Nice map for green on this side, by the way. This wood line covering the whole section all until the end makes his wall up just so much easier here. So let's split the map in half, but looking at the gold spots, it's mostly gold on the other side, so not the best division of resources there. So blue now trying to break in. I don't think he will succeed getting through this gate. He would need some ranged units too, but he almost opens this gate here, so this is, yeah, Spearman going on for red. He's adding more. If he stacks up on a few more, he should be able to clean up these scouts. Cast Age it in, so is Cavalry Archer production. He's great eco to support that. He seems a bit low on food though. It's now going for multiple TCs. He should have enough farms to support it, but might pose an issue later on. So Cav Archers are out now, getting in hits on the scouts as well. They will clean the spears as well, for sure. What's Green's plan when he now gets Cast Age? He still has a villager forward. He could consider some forward military buildings. He knows about the cavalry archers since he's seen the ranges or the archers or both. So he needs to deal with that somehow. Maybe we'll see some archer ranges and some skirm defense here. Adding a town center now. Still has 2 pawns moving, adding fishing ships as well. As distributed among the shore and deep fish here. Should be a very nice food count for Green. He's actually floating very much food now without actually being able to use it for anything. He doesn't have so many gold, so knights are in production now, but only one stable for now. So it's 11 gold for Green now. He's adding more to gold. He wants to get another stable up. No, it's a blacksmith, sorry. So only one stable production for the moment, while they're both getting eco and army upgrades here. Red getting husbandry for his cav archers, which are now 10 in numbers. He's got 2 ranges for this one. So he's trying to find a breakthrough point here. It's going to be hard to be knight that with range fire in the back, but there are also knights to challenge the cav archers once they come in. Looks like double stable production for Green now, but Red breaks through. Green doesn't seem to mind. He has army now, he has spearmen and some knights in the mix. They also have he's also getting the armor, obviously, for knights. He does have too few numbers to take a good fight here now. The cav archers can hit and run and get some really nice hits in here. But knights can also tank a lot of arrow fire here, so Red needs to back off until he has more numbers. Which he is adding. Tatars even get access to camels, so Red could consider adding camels from his home stable here. Ivan starts in 20 minutes. Okay, that should probably be okay, I guess. I'll try to catch that. So lots of cav archers on the field for Red now. He has 10, 14 total. He has a slight military lead, but you could also say that knights have more HP and can tank a lot of arrows. So if the knights are able to catch up to the cav archers, they should be able to get some numbers. It looks like a small surround going on here. Focus is spearmen first, wise choice, so they can't hit while hitting the cav archers. And if you had some knights loop around the other side, you could get a nice surround here, but he still chases nicely. Good micro from Red here to pick off knights without really taking very much damage here. I think this is still good value from a small group of cav archers like this. And he's of course stacking up more at home, and he could go for a raid, and he's also towering the pond here, so Green will lose his fish and his food income on that side. Of course Green still has the pond on this side, with the fish still remaining, so this is not a huge loss, but it sets back his food eco a little bit as well. So 16 knights on the field against roughly the same amount of cav archers. The military counts is very much the same now. Red with the villager lead is only 3 TC boom. I believe Green has only 2 for the moment. Both knights now running in. Lots of weak knights here though. No, I don't know why he's pulling back these knights. If he brought everyone in, I think he could have done a great challenge here. But significant amount of knights here now, 19 knights, spreading out a bit, but now he wants to collect them. And that could be the end for these cavalry archers. We're looking at 17 knights total in the field here for red, and he also keeps this gate open. Unfortunately, his spearman dies, so he can't use that to get knights through, but Palisades gate is easily broken by knights, and he picks up so many cav archers here. Now red is down to 6 military, and this is beginning to look tough for red here. Forward siege even being added by the Japanese player here now. He is taking down the tower as well, so his fish is free again. He can add fish traps and secure his food eco again. Now gets housed. Looking at the population, they are very much even in population here. It's 92 to 97, but red with a little bit higher villager count. It is a scary amount of army green has now. Anyway, and the only defensive castle from red going up. He is not giving up this one easily. Now there are probably frame drops. Looks like my Wi-Fi connection isn't ideal on my streaming machine. That's the downside of streaming in on a Wi-Fi network, unfortunately. Is it better now, Alcolmer? I have slightly better Wi-Fi signal from moving the computer a bit now. Massive army from green now. It's 29 knights at least, and also a mangonel. Should be fairly easy for green to break through here, and red doesn't really have the military to answer. If green finds the right breaking point here now, it could be devastating for red's eco. He could actually take out TCs with this amount of knights. He's even adding forward ranges now, red, and also monastery monks. He might be going for the relics now, and he's taking the third pond as well. Fantastic play by green here. Staying on the defensive to begin with it, and walling off and getting the fish boom and everything going. Red is adding a second defensive castle though. That's gonna stop the rush if it can't be denied, and I don't think this will be denied in time unless green sees it. So green just about to break through here now. Red also going for the Imperial Age. They are both doing that, but red will be reaching it first. He will have traps or siege traps to take out production, so this is certainly not over for red. He could go for elite cavalry or heavy cavalry archers as well. Does green know about the castle? And also about this one, he doesn't see the other one. So, strong push for green at this moment is 4 mangonels now firing, but they will risk dying to castle fire, and meanwhile red has been stacking up on light cav and cavalry archers here. I don't think he has the numbers to chase these knights away anyway. This is 29 knights on the field for green, and he could take out these 2 TCs with knights if he wanted to. He's going straight for the castle actually. He's reaching in for his wood. He doesn't have a stone for a castle, but he could still add rams or capped rams to deal with the castles here. But chooses to run in with knights, actually losing a lot to cav archers and castle and TC fire here. And then green now losing lots of these numbers. I mean, he's doing a switch to cavalry archers himself, but it might just be he's throwing away army here. It's not. I guess he doesn't feel the use for these knights anymore. And of course, he's taking out all military from his own. 11 military for red means there won't be a huge critical mass of heavy cavalry archers for red just yet. What are the ecos like now? Red seems to struggle with resources from all the other time, and compared to green, who is floating a lot of resources, it could be working to green's advantage here. Green is pulling back, he's going for Japanese cav archers himself. He seems to want to be mirroring his opponent's army, but it's going to take him a long while to mass the numbers and get to heavy and everything. While meanwhile, red is adding trebs at his own base here. So, huge massive army going up for red here now is amassing the heavy cavalry archers. He's going to protect this trap with his army, and his first target being the siege workshop, making it tougher for green to mass more siege forward. He does have 4 archers though, so if the cavalry archers are moving in closely and green gets a nice attack round, he will be able to get quite a few kills or weakening in on this army here, but green is taking out some trees here. He wants to have more of a playing field, and he now has cav archer himself. He does not however have heavy cav archer yet. Wants to add a forward castle here now, but does he have something on the side as well, just to look at it? But he still has 2 onagers up. Nice awareness from red, having the light cavalry ready to snipe the onagers here, and still only cavalry archers for green against heavy cavalry archers for Tatars. Must say I find it questionable that green wants to go cavalry archers on his own against Tatars, who have just that much easier job to get into the full upgraded cavalry archers. This castle will for sure be denied by the cavalry archers now. Green needs to bail on his forward castle. Green had a very nice push with knights, but he threw away a lot of them. Threw away 30 knights in his opponent's base, and even with score lead, it doesn't look great for green right now. He does have a heavy cavalry archer himself now, and they have the same upgrades it seems. But green doesn't have the critical mass as opposed to his opponent, who has more cavalry archers in the mix, and it seems like red is winning the fight here. He does have to focus on army though, and he can't really focus on the castle. If this castle goes up, it's gonna be a lot better for green here. But green certainly needs to send in more winders for this to succeed. So now 5 more winders coming forward for green to finish this castle. As red backs off, that means that this castle will indeed go up, and it will protect all this forward production here. So there still gives the option of going to the sides here for the players. You would need to break through, of course, but there are possibilities. Nice of green to add elite skirms into the mix as well. Yes, now has heavy cav archers. Nice number here, and elite skirms also help him to take out his opponent's cav archers. Their populations pretty alike. They're keeping the same population numbers. Red with a slight villager lead, but again the fish boom is doing wonders for red here. I think he has control of all 3 pawns actually. So this makes for a huge eco lead for green overall, I think. Look at this food and gold eco. He's not spending it, of course, because it's mainly making skirms and cav archers. But the option is certainly there. Now we will be seeing a defensive castle from green here as well. I have no idea where these red villagers are going. Let's see if they have target somewhere. Are they going for the pond, or are they going for... Okay, they're actually going all the way around for this goal. That's really, really bad news and bad pathing for red there, since he didn't have a gate on anything on this side. They actually have to run all the way around and are being, in exchange for that, being chased by green army. I don't think red is seeing this. He's too busy fighting cav archer fights here. And green now with 50 military, that's a mix of skirmishes. Even adding towers, this could be Yasama towers as Japanese, which will make it nicely for defensive purposes. Actually, he lost his castle area. If it ever went up, he actually lost this to these traps. And remember Tatar's traps with the unique technology, they have +2 range as well. I don't think he has not teched it already. So green ridden some stables out now, more stables I believe, to have some kind of cavalry to deal with this. You can most certainly afford Knight's line, you know, is floating so much for the goal, is just not spending it. Which is strange to see that he doesn't. Fight going on in the middle here now between the players. Still elite skirms and heavy cavalchers from green doing work here. It's also adding onagers again, but their villager and villager counts are pretty much the population higher for green because he has the higher military count. Green seems to be struggling for wood though. He either needs to add more wood or make it more efficient. But he's producing. They both are. I think lots of ranges producing for right now, and he seems to want to do a switch for some kind of melee unit as well. So nice onager shot here for green. He gets some cow archers in the hit. There is military count 36 to 26 now. Still the military lead for green. Now adding traps, he wants to take out the forward castles here, which should be possible if he has the army to protect them. He could even cut through the trees with onagers to get some raids in, but still not any stables added from green as far as I can see. So red trying some repairs here, but it does look tough still. I think this castle will go down in the end, depends on red stone count, but is running low on stone here. And I think he will eventually lose this castle. If he has traps of his own, he could still challenge these traps with his own traps because he has the superior range, but now looking at push here and the score from green, he seems to have a significant lead here. Red's villager actually made it over here, even though green's army was chasing them. Red is raiding a little bit with light cavalry as well, but looking at the map control side of things, it looks very much like green has control of this. Lots of action going on at the moment, so I have some lag issues for some reason. This could be because of all the army and everything going on at fast speed here, but so nice. Green still sustains it forward. I believe this might be Japanese unique tech traps that I could just pack right away. Look at these 5 firing fast, and when red loses his second cast, what does he do against this mass of cav archers? Can he sustain this push at all? So red's losing villagers, he's lost both his castles, and he calls the GG. Dominant Japanese play by green here is just everywhere. He has halves raiding on this side, he is pushing constantly in the middle section here. which was the point of interest the whole game, but also the most importantly, he took all 3 ponds. So fantastic food eco boost for Green. Just look at his food income here, it's ridiculous compared to his opponent. And also with double the pop in the end, finally managing to break through his enemy's lines.